And she said, well, I think it improves the sexual arousal. not for me. It improves the sexual arousal.
Hello and welcome to you all to
Aprender Inglés con Reza y Craig.
I'm Reza.
And I'm Craig.
And this is episode 112. If you're a new listener to this award-winning podcast, welcome.
Hello.
Craig and I have over 40 years of teaching between us, and we'll help you to improve your English and take it to the next level.
Oh, yes, we're going to improve your grammar, vocalize your vocabulary, and perfect your pronunciation with our podcasts. Reza, what are we going to speak about in this episode?
In this episode, we're going to help you with the causative passive.
The causative passive?
Yes.
Don't you hate those grammar labels?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
I'd much rather say to have something done. To have something or get something done. That's the causative passive.
Yeah, it really means when something is caused to happen, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. So you don't do it yourself when the subject doesn't do the thing but causes it to happen. Yeah.
And this is because of feedback we received from Jaime, from Alicante. Hello, Jaime, who sent us an email. And he said, "Hi, Reza. Hi, Craig. Thank you for the podcast. I listen every week. Please speak about the causative in English. I don't understand when have to use get and when have."
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think there was a mistake there.
Yeah. He should say when I have to use get and when have.
I don't understand when I have to use get or when have. Or you could say when you have to use get and when have. Well, we spoke about the passive in general, el pasivo, in episode 17. So if you go to inglespodcast.com/17, you can listen about the passive in general and how the passive is formed in English. But today we're going to specifically speak about the causative passive.
Craig, your hair's looking very nice.
Thank you.
When did you get your hair cut?
Aha. When did I get my hair cut? It was about a month ago.
Mm-hmm. You didn't cut it yourself, did you?
No, I didn't cut it myself. Someone cut it for me. So I went to the hairdressers and the lady in the hairdressers cut my hair. So I can say I had my hair cut or I got my hair cut.
You paid her to cut your hair?
Exactly.
You paid her? Have you considered getting a refund? I'm only joking. Listeners, I'm joking. Craig's hair is beautiful. Believe me, it is really quite stunning. It's purely a joke.
Actually, you recently had your hair cut.
I did. If I catch that guy, I'm going to break his legs. The guy who did that.
What does your hairdresser do for a living?
Yes, yeah. I think he's maybe a fishmonger.
When's he going to finish it?
Oh, one of these days.
You're going to go back next week to finish. Yeah, the old jokes of getting your hair cut. So that's the causative. The causative is formed with the verb have or get plus the object plus the past participle. For example, Reza got his hair, which is the object, cut, which is the past participle.
I tell you what, Craig, perhaps the best thing to do would be to practice. Why don't we give an example prompt? A prompt is something to make you think. And then we'll give the listeners a few seconds to convert the sentence to a causative passive. And then we'll tell them the answer. What about that?
So you want the listeners and me to change the sentences to the causative. Shall we use have or get?
We'll mix them.
Mix them. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll give an example.
What's the example?
The example is, for example, if I say, she didn't pierce her nose herself, then the listener has to think, she had her nose pierced.
What does pierced mean?
To pierce your nose or to pierce your ear or any body part, it's to make a hole in it and put in an earring or a nose ring.
Don't they say the same thing in Spanish? Hacer piercing?
Yes, you can say hacer piercing. Exactly, that's it. Yeah.
But in English, it's a verb, to pierce. So to pierce your nose or to pierce your ear. Let's repeat that example. She didn't pierce her nose herself. She had her nose pierced. You could also add, as it's passive, you could add by somebody, but that's not important. The important thing, it's changed to the passive with the verb have. She had her nose pierced.
Okay, so let's practice. And we'll leave a little bit of gap for you to get the answer before Craig tells you a possible answer.
We'll leave a pause.
Here we go. He didn't paint his flat himself.
He had his flat painted.
We won't cook our meals.
We'll have our meals cooked.
They didn't repair their washing machine.
They had their washing machine repaired.
I didn't alter my suit.
What does alter mean?
To alter, for example, to take up trousers or sleeves means to change the length, to shorten.
So take up means make shorter. If the trousers are too long, you take them up. So you alter the trousers. Okay. Can you ask me again?
Sure. I didn't alter my suit.
I had my suit altered.
She didn't clean her flat.
She had her flat cleaned.
He doesn't service his car.
What does service mean?
To service means just to generally check everything to make sure there are no problems. We often service our cars just before they do the MOT, the motoring test, which is the Spanish equivalent of ITV.
So service your car is la revisión del coche.
Exactly. So he doesn't service his car.
He has his car serviced.
I didn't fix my computer.
I had my computer fixed.
You aren't taking your own blood pressure.
Tensión de sangre.
You aren't taking your own blood pressure.
Oh, no, you're not. You're having your blood pressure taken.
He didn't frame that picture himself.
He got that picture framed.
He didn't fill his tooth himself.
He got his tooth filled.
What does that mean?
Un empaste.
Paste. So the dentist put a filling, un empaste, in his teeth, or in his tooth, I should say, singular.
Yeah, but you know it's the dentist, so it's not necessary to say what is the agent of the action, the person who does it. Obviously, it's the dentist. So you just say he had his tooth filled. Not by the plumber, not by the mechanic, by the dentist.
Another one. She wasn't cleaning the rug.
She had that rug cleaned.
No.
No.
I repeat.
Okay.
She wasn't she wasn't cleaning that rug. Past continuous.
She was having that rug cleaned.
Yes, you can do past continuous, past simple. Any tense you want is possible with to have something done. Any tense is possible.
As long as you remember have and get plus in the correct form plus the past participle.
Here's another one. We ourselves hadn't checked the gas installation because we're not gas experts. You're not allowed to check it yourself. We ourselves hadn't checked the gas installation. We ourselves hadn't checked the gas installation.
We'd had the gas installation checked.
You said we'd. We apostrophe D.
Two hads. We had. Because one had is the past perfect and the second had is have for the causative. So again, we'd had our gas installation checked.
I haven't revoked my own driving license. Obviously, who would? I haven't revoked my own driving license.
Present perfect. I've had my driving license revoked.
I wouldn't examine my injury.
I'd have my injury examined.
Presumably by a doctor.
Exactly.
Craig said I'd have, or long version, I would have. But in spoken English, the contraction is more normal.
So, when was the last time you had your photo taken? There's an example for you. Had your photo taken. Do you remember?
Yes. Probably by you in London, which was about a week ago.
At the New Media Conference.
Exactly. And,
Me too.
and you? Was that the last time you had your photo taken?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, it was, yeah. Yeah.
Craig, here's a question for you. I know the answer. You might, I'm not sure. Can you have your blood pressure taken in a pharmacist in Spain?
In Spain, I'm pretty sure you can. I think I've seen people having their blood pressure taken. Is that correct?
Yes.
You can, can't you?
I've had my blood pressure taken in a pharmacist in Spain. And what about in the United Kingdom?
I don't think so. I've never seen it in the UK.
No, they're not permitted. They don't have the authority.
So you can't get your blood pressure taken. You have to go to the doctor for that.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you. You know, my mum's got glaucoma in her eyes, unfortunately. Because glaucoma is something that gets passed on through the bloodline and from parents to children, it's important that I get my pressure taken at the opticians.
You're talking about eye pressure, not blood pressure.
No, eye pressure. They can test it. Have you ever got your eye pressure taken?
Yes, I have.
Because you can get it done in opticians in Spain. They will do it free of charge.
Yeah, they're supposed to do it every time you go to the optician. When you get your eyes tested, they should take your eye pressure.
I thought you had to ask for it. I didn't know they
Actually,
would do it.
You're right. It depends. I think sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
I think they have an obligation to do it if you ask.
Right. I know the last time I had my eyes checked in the UK, that they also checked the eye pressure. I know that for sure.
How often do you get your eyes checked?
Once every 2 or 3 years. And
you don't test them yourself?
No.
You get them checked?
I get them checked.
Yeah, me too.
Of course. Only an optician knows how to check eyes. It's very complicated. Craig, would you ever consider having a tattoo done?
I have. I would and I have, actually. It's something I've been thinking about the last few years. I've been thinking about having a tattoo done.
Can I ask what the tattoo would be and where it would be?
I don't know where, but I would like it probably to be on my arms. And I'm thinking of a famous or an influential quote, a quotation, something that I could look at every day and be reminded of. Something, I mean, it wouldn't be this, but it could be something like, enjoy the small moments, or life is in the details, or something philosophical that would remind me every day to have a particular view of life. So yeah, I've been thinking about it actually, but I haven't decided what or if I'm going to do it.
You don't fancy something very, very highbrow that's like very intellectual or very, very high class culture, like to be or not to be on your bottom or something like that? No? That'd be quite funny. Can you on the left hand side to be, and on the right hand side or not to be? I quite like the sound of that.
Or love and hate on your knuckles, on your hands. Have you ever thought about getting a tattoo done?
Many years ago, but not now. I wouldn't have it done now.
What about having your head completely shaved? I mean, you had your haircut recently, but have you ever considered having your head completely shaved, like bald? So there's no hair whatsoever, like completely bald?
I haven't, but I would consider it in the future if I was beginning to go bald, because rather than have a bald patch, which is una calva, I would rather be completely bald so no one could see the bald patch to kind of disguise it.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Me too. I have considered it. I've thought about having my head shaved, but I haven't done it yet. I think it looks very clean. I like it. The only problem is you have to keep shaving it. You have to shave it every day. Otherwise, when it starts to grow a bit, I don't like the way it looks. It has to be either completely shaved or not.
Yeah.
You can't really do it in the middle.
Because if you have very, very short hair, but some hair, you can look a bit like a skinhead.
Yeah.
So you're more interested in kind of the Buddhist monk look.
Exactly.
Completely bald.
Completely smooth, like a baby's bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Craig, unfortunately, these days there are a lot of security incidents which happen in airports and other places. There's a terrorist threat. So my question is, should we have our bags searched on all public transport for security reasons? So buses, trains, planes, ships, trams, everything. What do you think?
I don't think it's necessary to compulsively search every bag on every journey for every passenger, because if you do that, then obviously the terrorists know not to do it, and then you just inconvenience everybody. But maybe more spot checks would be useful to keep people guessing, so that there are more checks. I wouldn't object to that. What do you think?
So you think we should have our bags searched randomly? A spot check is you never know when it's going to happen.
Yeah, a spot check is randomly, just for no reason. Just pick people, choose someone, and search their bag.
Yes,
I wouldn't object to that.
Me neither. I don't mind having my bag searched every time I go on an airplane. I would accept that, but not other forms of transport. Because the thing is, the reason why terrorists are so keen to blow up airplanes is because if they damage the airplane in midair, you're going to die. Everyone will die. You have no chance of survival. Whereas in a bus and train, you have a good chance of survival. So in an airport situation, I don't mind. But catching a bus or train, it would be too inconvenient, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Craig, I was saying that your hair is actually very nice. I was joking earlier when I said it wasn't. How often do you get it cut? How often do you get your hair cut?
How often do I get my hair cut? Probably about once a month, on average. What about you?
Oh, far less. I think I have my hair cut about once every 3 or 4 months.
Really?
Yeah.
It grows slowly.
Yeah.
Do you always get it cut at the same place?
Yeah. A great Algerian barber in my neighborhood I really like. Can I plug him? To plug is give a bit of publicity. Al Rusafi. Yeah. Al Rusafi. So, assalamu alaikum to my Algerian barber and Al Rusafi. He's a great guy.
Ask him if he wants to sponsor the podcast.
Might do.
Did you, Reza, did you have your tonsils taken out when you were a child?
No, I didn't.
What are tonsils?
Tonsils are amygdalas in Spanish.
I didn't know that.
Me neither. I looked it up.
Amygdalas.
Yes.
Did you have your amygdalas, your tonsils, taken out when you were a child?
What about you?
No, I didn't. I still have them as far as I know.
Yeah. Though when we were children, it was quite common to have your tonsils taken out, wasn't it?
Yes.
These days it isn't. These days they try to avoid it. But in the past, they took them out quite quickly without thinking about it. But they've since decided that it's not such a great idea.
You could say they used to whip them out. If you whip something out, you take it out quickly to whip your tonsils out. Yeah, I think maybe now they treat tonsillitis in a different way.
Craig, you said you have thought about getting a tattoo. Mm-hmm. Have you ever thought about getting your ear pierced?
Again? I got my ear pierced when I was 18.
Ah.
And I had my ear pierced for 10, 15 years. Now the hole has closed up. So I had my left ear pierced in the UK. I think I was 18 years old.
And what type of earring did you have in your ear?
Both. I had a stud for a while. A stud is just a piercing, like you'd say in Spanish, just a normal small piece of gold.
Yep.
Or gold-plated metal. And then I had an earring, which is a small ring, anillo, for another few years.
Uh-huh.
But it's quite small.
Would you consider having any other part of your body pierced?
No, I don't think so.
And definitely nothing below the belt.
Nothing below the belt.
Debajo de la cintura. Okay, let's move on swiftly.
I was speaking to a girl a few years ago who had the inside of her mouth pierced and her tongue as well. Her tongue was pierced. And I asked her, I said, why? She was a student. I said, why did you get your tongue pierced? And she said, well, I think it improves the sexual arousal. I said, not for me. It improves the sexual arousal. Have you ever had your wallet stolen?
Never. I've never had my wallet stolen. I've been lucky so far.
You have?
I've never. And you?
Not my wallet. I've had my credit card hacked.
Yes, quite recently.
Yesterday.
Yeah, but at least it wasn't stolen. It was just hacked online.
Yeah, I've lost my wallet, but I never had it stolen. Mm-hmm. What about your inside leg? When you buy trousers, it's common if the trousers are made to measure, which means they're specifically made for you. It's quite common to have the tailor, sastre, measure the distance from your private parts, from the inside of your leg to
from your groin, we could say.
Yeah, from your groin.
El ingle.
To your ankle, right? Where your trousers finish. So have you ever had your inside leg measured?
A couple of times, not often, once or twice.
So you've had trousers and suits made to measure?
I was going to, but in the end, I didn't do it. So they did measure my inside leg, but when they told me the price, I decided not to buy the suit. And that was done by, I had my inside leg measured by a tailor, un sastre. Mm-hmm. And what about you?
Yes, I think once many, many, many years ago, when I had a suit made in the UK, but it's a very distant memory. I don't remember much about it. Just once, I think.
Craig, tell me, are you a superstitious kind of guy? Have you ever had your palm read? Have you ever had your fortune told?
Never. I don't believe in it. Mm-hmm. My sister has. She's had her palm read 3 or 4 times. What about you? Do you believe it?
No.
You've never had it done?
Well, I think I've had a friend kind of jokingly say, let me read your palm. And they said, oh, this line means you're going to get married. This one means you're going to be rich. But I wouldn't pay someone to do it. It's silly. It's a traditional kind of thing that gypsies are supposed to do, isn't it? Yeah. You have your palm read by a gypsy fortune teller. Mm-hmm. You have to give them money, and then they tell you what's going to happen to you.
I also know people who have had their astrological signs mapped, so they could actually use your birthday and they can map out your personality and also predict the future using astrology.
Have you ever had that done?
No.
Would you consider having it done?
No, not interested in it at all. If you're listening and you do this, or you are interested in this and you believe it and you think it's really a good way of predicting the future or describing a person's character and personality, please get in touch and let us know, because I would be interested in finding out more about it, although I am very cynical about the idea that you could predict the future with someone's palm or through their astrological sign. Final question for you, Reza. Will you ever finally get your flat done up? Now, to do up a flat is reformar, to decorate, to renovate. So will you ever get it done?
Who knows, Craig? Who knows? Craig has been listening to me talking about this for about 3-4 years and it hasn't happened yet.
It's definitely work in progress. Well, the work not in progress is more accurate. Have you had any estimates done?
No. But stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened means, it's possible. It's not totally impossible.
Okay.
I think I probably will have it done up someday soon.
Before we continue with this podcast, Reza and I would like to speak about something we like. It's italki, who are kindly sponsoring this podcast. Italki is a place on the internet where you can find a personalized one-to-one English teacher. Actually, you can find teachers who will teach you different languages, but for English, it's particularly effective because of the wide range of teachers available through italki. We've both used it, Reza for French and myself to improve my Spanish a little. We like the system. We're recommending it to you if you're interested in one-to-one tuition. It's convenient, it's affordable, you study when you want to study. And if you're interested, italki are offering 100 free credits, which is more or less a free lesson to each paying student who registers through our website. So for more information, go to inglespodcast.com/italki, italki. And Reza and I would like to thank italki for sponsoring Aprender Inglés con Reza y Craig.
So, now it's your turn to practice your English. Do you have a question for us or an idea for a future episode? Why not send us a voice message and tell us what you think? Just go to speakpipe.com/inglespodcast. Or you could send us an email. You could send one to me, that's belfastreza@gmail.com, or
to me, Craig@inglespodcast.com.
And we'd like to end today's episode by thanking our sponsors on Patreon. Hopefully, someday soon, we will collect enough money together to be able to publish the full show notes. But in the meantime, we'd like to say thanks to our sponsors,
who are our 11 lovely sponsors are Lara, Sara, Mamen, Juan, Sara Jarabo, Corey Finnegan from IVMV, Jorge, Raul, Rafael, Danielle, and Manuel. Thank you very much for your sponsorship and support. And next week on the podcast, we're going to continue with the idea of the causative, speaking about causative verbs make, let, get, help, and have. So join us next week in episode 113 for more causatives. Until then, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
Cheerio. The music in this podcast is by Pitts. The track is called See You Later.